Hello friends. Today we are going to listen a story from history. But this story is not from the time of kings and maharajas. It has happened about 70 years ago. We are going to listen the story of a war that took place when India got independence. The name of the story is Battle of Zojila, written by Rahul Kokil, read by Manasi Kokil. It is the creation of Manthan Learning Resources. So let's listen the story Battle of Zojila. Yes, we will take the tanks up to Zojila. This statement of General Thimaiya created silence in the meeting. In front of the then Defense Minister of India Baldev Singh, Prime Minister Pandit Nehru, then Army Chief Field Marshal Cariappa, Home Minister Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and many other important officials, Major General Thimaiya had laid out a plan to conquer the Zojila Pass. For the past several days, Zojila has been a hot topic in the Kashmir. It was necessary for the security of Kashmir to conquer the Zojila Pass as soon as possible. In an important meeting called for this purpose, General Thimaiya was speaking to get the permission of political leaders for the plan to use tanks in the Zojila Pass. Everyone had one question in mind. Tanks? On 13,000 feet high, where Himalayan ranges are covered by snow, and that too in winter. It was beyond imagination for many people. Tank was a weapon used in the open field. Its use is possible in deserts, low-lying areas, etc. But Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was aware of the seriousness of the issue, finally broke the silence in the meeting. He said, "This military man Thimaiya knows his job very well. Then why are we discussing this?" Sardar Patel, in decisive words, showed faith in Thimaiya's plan. The meeting ended. The plan was approved. General Thimaiya, along with his colleagues, left Delhi for Srinagar. A new era of adventure was beginning in Indian history. Indian troops had already gained entry into Srinagar. It was important to push back the Pakistani army from the rest of Kashmir. Campaigns were launched in different parts of Jammu and Kashmir since October 1947. It was gradually gaining success. But the Zojila Pass was the most strategically important area conquered by Pakistan in terms of military and security. As the Zojila Pass was the only road from Srinagar to Leh Ladakh, it was a way for Pakistan to dominate Kashmir. The one who will have Zojila Pass will surely dominate Srinagar and Leh Ladakh. Even today, the National Highway 1A, the National Highway to Leh Ladakh and Siachen, passes through Zojila Pass. India's efforts to gain control of this strategically important place continued, but the attacks did not have much success because the enemy was at higher place. According to the science of war, it is difficult to defeat an enemy at a height. The enemy can see all your movements, your numbers, everything. However, we do not know the enemy's locations, numbers, and movements. In order to win such a war, one has to have an army of 1:10 or 1:8. In simple words, if Pakistan at the top had strength of 100 troops, we need to have 1,000 troops. The same thing happened in Zojila. The strength of Pakistani army was at their height. Several attacks were carried out on Pakistani troops, but it did not have much success. In September 1948, 77 parachutes, 5 Maratha light infantries, Gurkha rifle and a battalion attacked together, but they did not succeed. That is why Major General Thimaiya was proposing a different solution. It's about taking tanks in Himalaya. There was a lot of discussion in the military. Till then, no one in the world history has used tanks at such a height. Why tanks? At that time, India had small arms, armored vehicles, and some other weapons also. But the ability to hit the target by hitting straight was only in the tanks. The Indian Army had Stuart tanks used in World War II at that time. It was decided to use the Stuart tanks belonging to the 7th Cavalry Regiment in Srinagar. And it was also approved by the cabinet. One problem was solved, but new problems were arising. The weapon was decided, but the roads and battlefields were not yet ready. Zojila Pass starts from Balathal. The distance from Srinagar to Balathal is about 100 kilometers. There were several bridges on this road, but only a few of these bridges were capable to carry the weight of a tank. Some bridges could not support the weight of the tank. There was a road till Balathal. After that, a road had to be built to carry the tanks. Colonel Rajinder Singh Sparrow, head of the 7th Cavalry, took the charge of transporting the tanks to Balathal. Rajinder Singh was a dynamic officer. He always used to be ready to face any problem. Rajinder Singh decided to disassemble some parts of the tank to take them to Balathal. Accordingly, the rotating cannons mounted on the tanks were separated and cannon and turret were carried from the other vehicles. These spare parts were attached near Balathal again and the tank was re-equipped. The road from Balathal to Zojila was not built. Madras Sappers, an army technical company, began building the road. Major Thangaraju started the execution of the plan. There were mountains on one side and deep valleys on the other side of the road which he was building. Work on the 7-kilometer long road from Balathal to Zojila was in full swing. The road building was planned in such a way that the enemy should not get any clue. The tanks came to Balathal. The road work was completed within few weeks. Major Thangaraju was also awarded the Paramveer Chakra for this achievement. The attack was scheduled for October 27. Troops were alerted to the readiness. But it seems that nature wanted to test the morale of Indians. On 27, the weather was very bad. The date of the attack was postponed. November 1 was the day of the attack. Major General Thimayya himself was present at Balathal. The weather was still not very favorable, but there was no time to wait. The Indian government was considering taking the Kashmir issue to the United Nations, that is to the world level. Before that, it was important to capture Zojila Pass to make Srinagar and Leh Ladakh safe. Major General Thimayya could see now or never. Thimayya decided to attack even in bad weather. Indian tanks began to move towards Zojila Pass. The infantry was following the tanks. Earlier attacks were repulsed, but now we wanted to win not only Zojila but also Leh Ladakh. For the first few distances, the invasion was not in the sight of Pakistan. At one point, Indian troops were attacked from Pakistani bunkers. The cannons of the Indian tanks started pounding. The pass was filled with the sound of tanks. The Pakistani army noticed these are not simple guns. The Pakistani army did not expect the Indian army to be able to bring tanks to Zojila. The Pakistani army was not equipped to attack the tanks. The Pakistani army began to run away. Around this time, a conversation between two Pakistani officials was tapped on an Indian radio set. We can easily understand Pakistan's state of mind from that conversation. The Pakistani official informed the commander, "Sir, the Indians brought tanks to Zojila." What? Tanks? In Zojila? Impossible. Just impossible. Sir, there are tanks. Really. Don't talk like fool. There will be simple armored vehicles. Tanks are not possible. There are no roads, no bridges in the area to bring tanks. It's impossible. Even the Pakistani leadership could not believe it because indeed the Indian army had made the impossible possible. The Pakistani army had no choice but to withdraw from Zojila. Thimayya ordered the Indian army to move forward without letting it relax. The Indian army reached Leh on 24th November, taking control of Dras, Kargil, moving forward through Zojila Pass. And just 8 days later, a ceasefire was declared by the United Nations over the war between India and Pakistan. In this war, which took place in 1947-48, the Indian army prevailed. But wars cannot be won by courage alone. One has to be well aware of the problem and the tools. Only then something different could be done about it. In fact, the Indian army had very few resources at that time after independence. The geographical position of the Indian army was much weaker than that of the enemy. Every problem was in the impossible category. The Indian army made possible many things that the world had considered impossible. Wouldn't the Indian army have been able to take a stand that the problems are difficult, very fierce? Would anyone have blamed them for that? No, certainly not. Let's think for a moment. When Afzal Khan attacked, Shivaji Maharaj would have withdrawn because the problem was difficult and he would have become the Watandar of Adil Shahi. In that case, was Swarajya possible? What if Indian researchers had given up because no one gave us nuclear energy technology? In each case, people made their efforts bigger than their questions, their problems. Shivarai visited Afzal Khan at the risk of his life. Indian researchers exerted their efforts and developed nuclear energy technology themselves. The Indian army also landed on the runway when the communication system of the runway was not sure. Zojila was attacked when there was a situation where a man could not survive in the snow. There was a sense of purpose in all this. I mean, in simple words, people knew exactly what to do and why to do. It resulted into the insistence to struggle with the problem, the questions, and the people put their efforts for it. It doesn't just deal with the problems directly. In the above case, no answer was found when dealt directly. That is why they insisted on doing things differently. Shivarai used guerrilla warfare. In 1947-48, when there was no aircraft, the aircraft was rented and used. The weapon on the flat ground like a tank was raised to 13,000 feet. The road was paved for it. This means that new methods and new tools have to be developed to solve new types of problems. In all the above examples, it was patriotism which was strongly supported by creativity. The same things are applicable to us also. We face many problems in our daily lives. The clarity and insistence on why and what to do creates alternatives through efforts. And we start thinking of options without capitalizing on the problems. Otherwise, we will just keep saying we wanted to do this, but you know what? Some other things were not available. This is a lesson taught to all Indians by our Indian forces in the very early days of independence, so that in our lives we can also face problems and deal with them with hard work, talent, and most importantly, creativity.